Hello everybody, I want to welcome you to All Sports Central's 2012-2013 NBA projections for the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. And this is your host, Herman Austin, checking in. Before we get into the projections, I want to give a shout out to everybody up in New Jersey, New York, Maryland, DC, North Carolina, everyone who was affected by the storm. We wish you guys a speedy recovery and you're all in our blessings. Now, on to the projections. In my opinion, this season, the Atlantic Division is going to be one of the toughest divisions in the Eastern Conference. It may even be the toughest division in all of the NBA this year. You have Philadelphia 76ers, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics, and the Toronto Raptors. And it's looking like it's shaping up to be the conference to be in this year. We're going to start out with the Toronto Raptors, who is probably going to end up being the weakest team in this conference this year. I really don't see them doing a whole lot this year, but they actually are starting to improve a bit. They're a team moving up slightly, but not quite enough yet. But looking at their roster, they do have some pretty decent pieces in place. They went out and picked up Kyle Lowry, who's shown that he can be a top-notch point guard in this league. May not be at the elite level yet, but he's definitely a top-notch point guard. And backing him up is Jose Calderon. I mean, either way you look at it, the point guard spot is sewn up in Toronto. I mean, I actually wasn't sure what they were doing going out to get Kyle Lowry, but they had seemed to be wanting to deal Calderon for the past couple of years. And it's pretty hard for me to understand dealing somebody who's been one of the top 6 guys for the past few years. But defensively, I guess, yes, he is a bit slow, but he does control the game. But I guess with Kyle Lowry now, they have 2 legitimate point guards to be able to lead them forward. They also have Andre Bargnani, who's definitely steadily increased over the years. Still a little bit, he's not your typical center. He's not strong banger. He's not very tough, but talented. He can pass. He definitely can shoot that ball. And he stretches out defenses, and he's going to be a problem for any center in this league. So he's still someone to watch out for. You have to respect. You have to watch out for on defense. DeMar DeRozan, probably one of the most athletic guys in the league, still has work to do as far as just getting a little better all around. You know, more passing the ball, a little bit better on the rebound, because with his athletic ability, he probably could rebound a little bit more. But he definitely has the talent, and they're going to be a solid team. They added Landry Fields, Dennis Kleiser. He's a solid guy off the bench, but I don't see them going too far this year. I mean, you know, if they end up with a winning record, I'd actually still be surprised. I mean, they have a few pieces, but they still need a few more. I would say a nice, strong, solid power forward, because like I said, Bargnani is not the best rebounder. He's not really a post presence, so they need that big, tough, bang around, dirty work guy to really get them going. And another 3, I would say. But that's Toronto, who will probably finish last in the division. Now, this is when it starts getting a little bit hard, because as of right now, 4th in this division, I would have to go right now probably the Nets. I like them as a starting team. You got Deron Williams, Joe Johnson, Gerald Wallace, Brook Lopez, and Chris Humphries, who will probably be their starting 5 for the year. No problems with it all. They have all you need. Great point guard, Joe Johnson, 2 guard, who's, for a salary, he's a bit of an underachiever, but Joe can go. You get him in the right situation, Joe can be a productive player. Gerald Wallace, dirty work guy, rebound, scores off the fast break. He's that guy. He's a typical, prototypical 3-man that you need in this league. Athletic, plays defense, rebound, does all that stuff, and doesn't need the ball to get his points. Chris Humphries, same thing, rebounder, dirty work, hard work kind of guy. He's gonna get you some rebounds. He'll score double digits. He's about a double type of guy. Get you about 10 to 12 points and close to 10 rebounds, nightly. 8 to 10 rebounds. So definitely kind of guys you need on the team. Wallace and Humphries, and then Brook Lopez, who is probably gonna be the key. Talented, extremely talented, could easily be number 2, number 3 center in this league. And if he develops the talent the way he shows offensively skilled, he may very well can be the number one center in the league. But his problem right now, rebounding, which he did show. He in the preseason he has stepped up his game a little bit, improved on the rebounding. But let's see how he does it over the whole season. And staying healthy been his biggest key. So as far as starting five wise, I like what I see out of Brooklyn. Still getting used to calling them Brooklyn Nets. They've been in New Jersey for so long, but I like what I see from them. And off the bench is where I think they're going to have their problems. I mean, they got a decent little point guard, Tyson Taylor, Marshawn Brooks, C.J. Watson has, had a pretty good year with Chicago. But I'm still trying to figure out how they signed Jerry Stackhouse. What are they signing him for? I'm sorry. I mean, he really is not going to bring much to the team anymore. For the most part, he's out there stealing money. But hey, I guess they needed to fill the roster, and he can bring some veteran presence. So maybe that's what they brought him in for. On to the Philadelphia 76ers. They were the surprise of the league last year. I thought they made a good move in picking up Bynum, but losing Iguodala hurt, and losing Lou Williams definitely, I think, hurt, because he was like that spark plug off the bench, led the team in scoring coming off the bench. They had no big names, but they played well together. And now, I'm not so sure if they're going to be able to pull that off. I like Bynum. As it stands right now, he's the second best center in the league, talent-wise, but from his years at LA, I just didn't see that drive in him, like that consistent drive to get out there in, night out, and get the job done. I mean, maybe it was because he had Kobe out there, they had Gasol out there, and he was like the third option. I don't know, maybe that played a part into why he didn't have a proper mentality. But again, he's already missing games. He's hurt again. He's really supposed to be the anchor out there this year. He will be the first option. So this is his time to show and prove. With him being out, and then with him coming back, I don't know. I think that may kind of ruin Philly a little bit, because they picked up a couple of. They went out and did a couple. I mean, they picked up Nick Young, another move. I'm just not totally agree. He can score. There's no question about it. So maybe they're looking at replacing him and put him in the spot of Lou Williams, just coming off the bench and being a scorer. But Lou Williams was a much better defender. So I think maybe they're losing out there. Drew Holiday, he showed improve. Like what I'm seeing from him, very good point guard. So they putting some things together out there. Darrell Wright was a signing that I couldn't say. I mean, it'll give him another athletic body, because he really hasn't shown up since that 1 year in Golden State. He had a great year, but that was a wide open offense. This is more of a structured offense, and maybe he'll thrive, but he's going to even have to fight to even get on the court. So, and then you got Evan Turner, who definitely made big strides of improvement. And he's on the cusp of being a very good player in the league. I wouldn't give him the star quality yet, but he's definitely a very good player, legitimate scorer, somebody you have to respect. And you got Thaddeus Young and Kwame Brown to round out the roster. And I think they're still going to be a good team. They're still going to be a playoff-bound team, I would think. But I don't see them doing much. I don't think they're going to do as well as they did last year. I can see a first-round exit, maximum second-round exit for the Sixers this year. On to the New York Knicks. I actually think they made some pretty good moves, even though it's going to look a little, because they went and got a lot older. But after seeing them the way they looked, having Jason Kidd on that team is going to make a huge, huge difference. Because, I mean, it's just like the ball is moving around. It's like they got bitten by the unselfish bug, so to speak. Jason Kidd, they started with Jason Kidd and Raymond Felton out there. And Raymond Felton was always a point guard type of guy. Now you have Jason Kidd as the mentor. They started them two in the backcourt. Then you got Tyson Chandler, who you know is a team player, defensive guy. Carmelo Anthony is looking great. And he's even actually moving the ball. Now I've seen him pass up a few shots to try to move the ball, get other guys some shots. And they're actually starting to look like a team. They went out. I mean, Novak coming off the bench, three-point specialist. I mean, you can't leave this guy open. I mean, you leave this guy open and you might as well just start running back down the court. It's over. is going in. So they have some good pieces in place. Amari Stoudemire injury, after looking at him last night, you kind of wonder, where is he going to fit? Will he be able to come back and fit into this scheme that New York has been doing? Because, I mean, they look very good. Hopefully he can, but at this moment, not so sure about it because I just like the way they looked last night. Yes, Miami was in and out. I don't think their heads were totally in the game, but still in all, New York came out and played it. They moved the ball. Everyone was getting touches. Everyone got shots. People were knocking down shots. Not going to be every day when New York's going to make 15, 16 three-pointers, but just the looks that they got is what I was looking at, and it was impressive. Iman Shumpert, he's not even back yet, and he's going to be that two guard out there on the wing. He's their best defender, has some offensive talent. The Knicks are going to be dangerous. And then they went and got older, adding Rasheed Wallace, Marcus Camby. They went and even found Kurt Thomas, these guys to give them that veteran backbone, that know-how down the stretch. I know Rasheed Wallace hasn't played in like 2 years, but your basketball mind doesn't go anywhere. So, and he's not going to be expected to be what he was years ago. He's out there now, get some minutes, be a veteran presence out there, and Rasheed is the ultimate team player. So I see the Knicks are surrounding themselves with a bunch of team player guys to go along with their young talent to hopefully mold them into the type of team that can make a run at this championship. And I see them doing pretty well this year. They have and then they went out and got the oldest rookie in his NBA history in Prigioni, came from overseas, pretty solid point guard. Don't know where his time is going to be at with Jason Kidd and Raymond Felton back there. So right now he'll probably get some time with Shumpert out, but once Shumpert get out, I don't really see him getting a whole lot of time. It depends on the situation, but I like where the Knicks is going. So I got them as second in the conference right now. Now on top of the conference, I got to go with the Boston Celtics. I like what they did during the offseason. They came down, they played Miami last year, they took Miami to 7 games. In the series they could have won, but it showed that their age showed. They died down game 6 and game 7. It's like they didn't have any legs at all. I mean, the guys were old. I mean, without no other way of putting it, they got old right before your eyes. So they knew they needed to go out and get some youth, and that's exactly what they did. They went out and Jared Sullinger is tough. I mean, I like that kid. They went out and drafted Sullinger and Fab Melo. Jeff Green is back, and he's looking pretty good after the aortic heart issue he had. So he got the surgery. He's back. Brandon Bass inside. They went and kept Wilcox. Avery Bradley still out. But you know what he can do and how important he was to the team. He was that young fire off the bench. Well, actually started, ended up moving Ray Allen back. But defensively can give you some offense. They went out and got Courtney Lee. Even Darko Milicic. They went and got Leandro Barbosa, even though I really don't know how they're going to find some time for him. And then the biggest acquisition probably Jason Terry with another veteran presence. But they have a good mixture of old and young talent. Now the only problem is going to be getting all these players not only time, but getting them to mesh and be able to play under the Boston way of playing. And if they can get that done, they are going to be the team to beat in the Atlantic Division. They already showed how far they could go last year with the guys that they had. They can get these young guys to buy into this system, under Doc Rivers system. Even with the slow start, the start right now really isn't making much of a difference to me right now because it's still beginning. It's almost like preseason. They're still trying to gel. But they are going to be the team to beat in the Atlantic Division this year. So that's my Atlantic Division projections for the 2012-2013 season. I got it finishing Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Toronto. Even though I give Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, and New York, all of those guys are probably going to end up with winning records. So that's why I say it's going to be a really tough division. And all 4 of those teams can't possibly make the playoffs, and which I'll predict will happen. I will go through that in the playoff projections in a later edition. Thanks for tuning in. Herman Austin, All Sports Central. See you on the next edition when I do the South Division. Thanks.